Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. Es mi gran placer para estar aquí hoy con todos de ustedes. Te quiero decir gracias a todos para dejar a tus niños pasar esta semana con nosotros en este campamento. Yo lo aprecio mucho, mucho, mucho. Thank you for coming today. It's a pleasure having... I'm such an emotional person. It's a pleasure having each and every one of you here today to share this wonderful afternoon with these students. These students have been a pleasure getting to know for me and for our staff and our hospital family. Today we are going to celebrate them, but more importantly we're going to celebrate you parents, because these are your children. This is your product that you have created for us, and you encourage them to come here and to be all that they can be, and encouraging them to get up and go to school, and putting a roof over their head and food on their table so that they can learn, so that they can be inspired, and hopefully showing them all the good accomplishments that you've had, and good morals and judgments, so that they can accomplish what they've accomplished this week and continue to accomplish in our future and in their future. I've had many students have said a lot of really neat things this week, and we've heard many things this week. But one of the things that I think summarizes this program in a way is this is an opportunity for the students to realize that they don't have to pigeonhole themselves into one area. One of the mentors told them that this week. They don't have to pigeonhole themselves into one area. And we kind of have taken that this week, and we have taken them into the different departments, the things that they're interested in, but also things that they're maybe not interested in or thought they weren't interested in. And we found out that some of them were greatly surprised that, wow, there's that many jobs in this hospital? I thought there was just doctors and nurses. So they found out that it takes many people to run a hospital, and you don't have to be a healthcare professional if you want to work in a hospital. You can do many things, and it takes lots of people to come out. And we were not only privileged to have the opportunity to shadow in the departments that they went through, the laboratory, the physical therapy, the radiology, the emergency room, the medical surgical floor, the ICU, intensive care unit, did I say physical therapy, and I think I got all the departments. Those were the ones that and I can't believe I forgot, and the clinics, the San Andreas Clinic and the Valley Springs Clinic. So they got to shadow in these areas, but at lunchtime, they also had the opportunity to learn about different job careers. On the first day, they learned, what did we learn? Who was our first career person the very first day? He's sitting right there, our sheriff, Gary Kuntz. He came out during lunchtime and he talked to the kids. And one of the things is showing the connection of healthcare and the sheriff's department as first responders, and seeing the important role that the sheriff's department plays in as a first responder to our hospital and the health care of the people in our community. Our next day, we had job shadows of who came in for a career talk the next day. Do you guys remember? On Tuesday? Cassie. Right? Where's Cassie? Cassie came in and talked to us about, I'm drawing a blank real quick. Oh my gosh. About quality control in the hospital, and how it's pretty much the checks and balances of the hospital, and how you need all these important things, checks and balances into the hospital so that it can flow in the care of the patient and going forward. And the next day, we had, who spoke with us? Miss Nikki Stevens. And Nikki spoke to us about management. She's our manager of, I'm terrible at titles, I apologize. She's the manager of marketing and development, correct? And she spoke to the kids about how you got to get out there and market and spread the word. Spread the word about our hospital, because if, patients come in because they're sick, but, there's other things that they have an option to come in for. So they talked to them about that and what her job was and how you market and the things you do in the hospital. And our next day, which was yesterday, we had who spoke to us? Feliciano spoke to us. And he spoke to us about being the president and CEO of the hospital and how his role, what he has to do, and again, checks and balances. And the kids got to learn the administrative part side. On the first day for lunch, we also had all the administrative staff, Melissa, Cassie, Larry, Pam, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. And Vicky from Human Resources come out and talk to the kids about how they, as the leadership, work together and what they do to help enable the hospital to function and run. So the kids got a well-balanced, a well-rounded exposure, a taste of what healthcare is about. So it was a very fun week and a very learning week, and I could just sit here and tell you more and more, but I think it's more important for us to hear from the students themselves. So, the first person I'm going to call up is Haley Litzenberg. Haley is a senior at CHS High School, Calaveras High School, and just a little side note, have you noticed the colors that are out on this table? We invite Calaveras High and Bret Harte to come out, and this year Calaveras was our only show of interest, so way to go Calaveras, way to go Calaveras. Haley has been described by her anatomy teacher as a confident, intelligent student with a job for learning, with a joy for learning. She will be an asset to your program, and Haley has been an asset to the program. Her smile, her eagerness, just the excitement that she has coming in, and it's just been a pleasure. So let's take a look.
So I'm a little nervous, but I'll start off by introducing my table, and I've got my mom, and her name's Kim Litzenberg. And I have Denise Meyer, who is the Administrative Assistant for Patient Care Services, and Nikki Stevens, who's the Manager of Marketing and Business Development, and Polly Dobbs, who is an RN in the ICU, and I have Barbara, and she's got Barbara Uke, and she's a district attorney. Alright, so I'll start off by saying that my week of being at the summer career camp has been really great. It was cool to be able to shadow someone doing what you want to do someday. I learned a lot more this week than I thought I would. I learned a lot about my interests. So I came in thinking that I was going to enjoy like the ER. I was thinking it was going to be my favorite day of the week, and it ended up not being my thing. I didn't really like it. And then I went into the lab thinking it was going to be really boring and that I wasn't going to enjoy it. But then I ended up really liking like looking under the microscopes and seeing like bacteria swimming around and stuff. It was cool. So, to sum it up, my week has been very insightful. I learned a lot, and what I think is most amazing is that there's so many different jobs around the hospital. It's not just nurses and doctors, it's also people on the administrative side or people on the marketing side. So it's just really cool knowing how many different opportunities there are in a hospital. So this camp just ensured for me that I want to be in the medical field someday, and I'd like to thank Johanna for running it, and it was really great. So, thank you.
Thank you, Haley. So the one thing that is a neat thing about this is a joy for me to hear and get all the time, every year, is kids saying, you know what, that wasn't for me, but I kind of like this other thing. And that's what's kind of really neat, because we have like the best staff in healthcare at this hospital, and they teach them as they're doing their job. And it's so neat because they give them so much information, not just about what they're doing, but about how to find their career path. You know, many of them have learned, as I'm hoping and I'm sure that they'll share with you, some of them told them, this is the way you can do this. They're helping them prepare a path for them to, not everybody can do it in 4 years. And many times, many of our plans is a 4-year college, but then something happens, and they got to actually meet people who achieved their goals through the interruption, but found their way to where they wanted to be. And that's one of the things that's so great here, is that the kids get to meet people to help them find their path to their ultimate goal. So the next person that's going to come up and talk to you is going to be Sierra Allen.